Welcome back to the channel. And I read this article, so you don't have to. And this is David Gardner online yapping about the good old days at BioWare. He left in 2016, so everything after 2016, he ain't really have no really say in, no touching, nothing like that. So like everything that nobody likes about BioWare is after 2016 for sure, bro. Because that's when Andromeda comes out. If you see over there, Andromeda comes out. That's when Veilguard comes out. That's when Anthem comes out. And the new Bioware. Motherfuckers really don't like that. But David Gardner, he's an OG, and he's talking about how EA always preferred Mass Effect over Dragon Age. And David Gardner's the OG. He wrote all of Dragon Age. He wrote the books, nigga. He wrote the games, the characters, the landscapes. He wrote all of it. He was in his bag writing Dragon Age. I ain't gonna fake it. Origins is on my wall. Big Shep is on my wall. But you gotta understand, like when he's saying this shit right now, it's because he created Dragon Age. Like this, he just hating on the Mass Effect name. But you gotta remember, think back with me. The reason EA bought BioWare is because of Mass Effect. Dragon Age wasn't even created yet, nigga. That shit was still, that nigga still, he was still on scripts when Big Shep was already in the main stage, bro. Big Shep was already main stage in a landscape when everybody was creating the fucking hero. Kratos was here. Nigga motherfucking Chief was here. Nigga Doom Guy was here. Like, people had icons. People had icons. Staples, nigga. Like, nigga, Sonic and Mario. Like, everybody had somebody. And EA got into the space. Why? Because Big Shep was that somebody. Of course they're going to prefer Mass Effect, bro. Because they had an icon in Big Shep. You point at fucking Mass Effect, Big Shep is there, nigga, all the time. Dragon Age don't have that. Dragon Age still doesn't have that to this day. There's no icon from Dragon Age. There's no one character you like, okay, Dragon Age, it's him. There's nobody. Cause Warden was gone just as fast as he arrived. They tried to do it again with Hawk. Then Hawk is gone. Hawk was the best main character they ever written, and guess what? He's gone, nigga. He's gone. Who knows where the fuck Hawk is, bro? Nobody gives a fuck about Inquisitor. Nobody gives a fuck about Inquisitor. And then Rook ass. Rook was alright, bro, but he was vanilla as hell. Like he was a really good guy. That was it. That was it for Rook. So Dragon Age has never had a character iconic enough, except Flemeth, maybe, to really compete with Mass Effect. And then in his article he talked about like, oh, even when Dragon Age outdid Mass Effect, there was one time, bro, and that was Inquisition. That shit was definitely unplanned. Like nobody expected Inquisition to do that fucking well. But Mass Effect has done well. Until like even Andromeda did fucking well. People act like that game flopped hard as fuck. No. That motherfucker still sold like 3 million copies or some shit. Like it still did hella fucking good. But Mass Effect versus Dragon Age, even internally, Mass Effect was always doing bigger numbers. That's why I got the budget. That's why I got the marketing. That's why I got the preferential treatment that he's saying. Like EA always preferred Mass Effect because Mass Effect was the better marketed game. It was the more marketable game. Why? Because they had Big Ship at the front. And then don't even get us started when Femship became like a fucking icon as well. Oh my, nah, Dragon Age never could touch that. And David Gardner, he could be upset. Why? Because EA would have scrapped Dragon Age a long time ago, but it kept selling. That was the only reason it survived. Origins sold pretty good, but it didn't sell as good as the first Mass Effect. And the first Mass Effect, I mean, it sold just as good as the first Mass Effect, but the first Mass Effect was Xbox exclusive. Versus the fucking multi-platform Dragon Age Origins, and you sold just as good as the exclusive Mass Effect game that they bought BioWare for. That's not a good reason to keep Dragon Age around. Because Mass Effect was doing it on one platform. Y'all did that with all the rest of them. And you still barely could compete with Mass Effect. That is exactly what the business people are looking at. Yeah, you put a lot of fucking work in, David Gardner, but you still couldn't compete with Casey and them over there. With the Mass Effect 1, it was Xbox exclusive, bro. Fond memories back in the day. But then it goes, Mass Effect 2 comes, it's one of the highest rated games of all time. You know, it done everything right. Storytelling, character development, nigga fucking consequences and choices. Everything was right with Mass Effect 2. Everything went right for Mass Effect 2. And then Dragon Age 2 comes out. they start revamping shit. He talk about it because he say when BioWare was creating Dragon Age, every time they created a Dragon Age game, that's why the other Dragon Age game was different because they would want to change some things. EA would want to change some things. The developers want to change some things, and the fans of the game would want things to be different. That's why every Dragon Age game is different. He talks about that in his article, and I'm like, yeah, because every Dragon Age game is different. But for some reason, you could talk to some Bioware fans on the goddamn internet. You can go watch my videos and look at the comments. Like motherfuckers be like, no, this is not Dragon Age. What the fuck is Dragon Age? The creator of Dragon Age don't even know what the fuck Dragon Age is. He said EA didn't know what the fuck Dragon Age was. They didn't know what the fuck to do with Dragon Age. Nobody did. Why? Because every Dragon Age game was different. Because every time they created a game, everybody wanted to do something different with the game. The fans wanted something different. The team wanted something different. EA themselves wanted something different. And they created another fucking Dragon Age every time. Mass Effect didn't have that, bro. It had a goal, it had a purpose, it had a story, and they stuck to that shit. They stuck to that shit. Gameplay did get streamlined. It did get simplified. It did get action packed. But Mass Effect always felt like it should have been like that. Even from Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 3, that combat system made fucking sense, nigga. It made sense. I don't know. I kind of hated the thermal clip thing. But I guess reload animations was cool at the time. You know, third-person shooters, because Gears of War was doing it with Marcus and them. Like, Armia 2 was booming off. So, like, I guess they wanted reload animations. They wanted guns to feel like guns and not just futuristic bullet shooters that they were in the OG Mass Effect game. Fine, they wanted to get rid of the thermal thing, but Dragon Age never had that unity, ever. They never had that unity, and then, you know, Dragon Age 2 came out, it was like a 70 something on Metacritic. We still played the fuck out of that game. Everybody enjoyed it, I think. People complained about the environments being reused, the enemies being reused. Everything was like reused because the game was made in like a year and a half or some shit. But like everybody still played and bought Dragon Age 2. That was the only reason Dragon Age survived. It's because the fans still bought the game, even though it was a critical failure. Even though it was a critical failure, the fans still bought their game. The only reason Dragon Age survived after Origins is because the fans literally still bought the fucking game. And then Inquisition came and boomed the fuck up. Everybody bought Inquisition, bro. Even motherfuckers that didn't play Dragon Age before, I know for sure they never played a Dragon Age Origins. They never played Dragon Age 2. They bought Inquisition and they played the fuck out of it. So like, it's like Dragon Age was one of those things, but Mass Effect has always been consistently the same. Even with fucking Andromeda sold like 3 million. And everybody hate that fucking game. It still sold like 3 million. So it's like, David, the only time Dragon Age has ever really competed with Mass Effect in any way was Inquisition. And then you left right after. So, like, I didn't really understand why he would go on record saying like, oh yeah, I always prefer Mass Effect. Yes, bro, because that was the reason y'all got bought by them in the first place. I really wish fucking Microsoft has just pop shot when y'all had the chance, bro. Y'all made all these bangers for them. KOTOR, Jade, Mass Effect, and they was like, oh, you can go to EA now. We're good. Are you fucking stupid? Microsoft was fucking dumb back then, bro. Every time I think back to it, Microsoft was a fucking idiot. Because there's no way this studio dropped 3 bangers for y'all back to back to back, and you let they ass go to EA. But I'm gonna end this video right here. Make sure to like button, subscribe. I like talking about Mass Effect all the time, bro. Every time some Mass Effect shit comes up, I gotta yap about it, bro. You know I'm gonna make a video. So make sure to like button, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one.